Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Arduna, this is my mom China.
He is a journalist.
And she's the enthusiast.
I am enthusiastic because we are talking about some really good football right now. It is the time.
It is that time.
Playoffs.
I don't know if you can tell, it is still very cold for us here in the Midwest, and it's still mid-January, so if you can see our breath,
that's okay.
It's
we
cold.
can see it
yes,
too.
Yeah, so
we had snow the last time we were out here.
We did have snow the last time, and as you can see, we're at my Chiefs hat because we're talking about football. We're talking about the playoffs right now.
Yes, we are.
But we're going to go ahead and talk about the AFC, or excuse me, the NFC.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about the two birds of the league. We're talking about the Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons to get us started off. This is now the second round. All the wild card games are played, and so now we're in the second round to see who's going to make it into the divisional round or championships. And so this is a big game because you've got Matty Ice, aka Matt Ryan, aka Matty Ice, and then you've got Russell Wilson. Two great quarterbacks and two just really good teams. Atlanta has made it to the Super Bowl in the early 90s. With all those guys, Jamal Anderson, and then when they were all doing the Dirty Bird.
Yeah, I was going to say, what's his name? Andre, what's his name? Andre Rison.
Right.
He got his house burned up by TLC.
Yeah.
I'm full of worthless facts, folks, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, that's the point. There's a lot of great history for the Atlanta Falcons, and obviously there's a lot of great recent history for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
They've always been competitive all through the 2000s, and now they've been one of the best NFL teams. Well,
they got a winning coach over there. They got a winning formula, and you know they have one of the most memorable Super Bowl losses ever 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So we won't even reopen that one. So let's talk about the game.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So to start out, do you think that Seattle having to travel to Atlanta is going to be a big factor for them in this game?
For the Seahawks, no, because the thing about it is Atlanta plays in a dome.
Right.
So, you know, the one thing about a dome is you do get the home crowd, you do have the noise, but you get the weather factor out of it. Seattle's up in the northwest, and it's cool, and we've been up there, and you know, the dirty South, it's hot, it's muggy Atlanta, but they're in a dome, so they'll have a controlled environment. So I don't think the travel is really the issue, and I've heard lots of players say it's a little easier to play on the road. You don't have to worry about giving people tickets and this, that, and the third. So the travel part isn't it, but for me, keys to the game are going to come down to a really high-powered offense. Atlanta has scored over 500 points. I think it was like 540-something points this season against what used to be the legendary Legion of Boom defense, where they had, you know, really good pass rush, but they had shut down corners and safeties that could come over the top and just knock you out.
Right.
So it's a really high-powered offense against what's supposed to be a good defense. So I think those are going to be the keys to the game, really.
Right.
How many points can Atlanta score against a storied defense?
Right.
Problem is, Legion of Boom hadn't had the boom. The boom, boom, pow is out of the Legion of Boom.
Hasn't been
it's a little boom chugga now.
Yeah,
so
it's more like a pop.
Yeah, exactly. And Matt Ryan is very dynamic, but so is Russell Wilson.
Yes.
So I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be a great game. Coach Dan Quinn, was the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks when they were on those runs.
On the boom.
So they know each other very well. Pete Carroll's a fantastic coach. We all know what he's done, college and pro. Like you said, Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan. You know, the running backs right now are almost a trade across. Devontae Freeman and Thomas Rawls, both of those guys are basically beast mode. And they both have really good receivers, even though Tyler Lockett is out for Seattle. There's still a lot of great players for them. The Robinson guy that made the one-handed catches. And
they were acting out the wild card game. The
Falcons. I mean, so I think the offensive side of the ball is going to be great. It's about really who can just make a couple more stops at the end of the game.
Okay, all right.
You know, they still have Richard Sherman, even though Cam Chancellor is not playing his best ball, but he's still there. Earl Thomas is out for Seattle, but they still have that. Michael Bennett is still out there. So I think the Legion of Boom still has some boom, but it's definitely not the same Legion of Boom.
It's not the boom, boom, pow.
We're really used to.
Right.
But I think Atlanta, you know, they're the Dirty South. They call them the Dirty Birds, and so they're going to really come and play. And I think it's going to be a great game.
So who's your pick?
Okay, well, my actual MVP of the league right now is Matt Ryan. And so I think you can't have the MVP. You can't pick the MVP and then have his team not win.
Right.
And I agree with you. I think as many points that they've scored this year, they're firing on all cylinders on offense. And I actually am going to pick the Atlanta Falcons. I think Seattle has struggled on the road. And it's going to be a really tough game, but I think Atlanta's going to come away with this one.
Well, you know, we talked about this earlier, pre-production, and I guess I'm flip-flopping, which most of these games except one, I'm going to be flip-flopping. I was going to say the thing about it is Julio Jones was already calling out Richard Sherman for holding him because the last time they played, they said he like Sherman's all over. He actually made some statement. He's like, I'm not going to call him out in first play, but I'm going to snitch him out if he's holding me the whole time.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. You got to fight that off. Come on, you're Julio Jones.
Yeah.
I do feel like Atlanta has the advantage because they are at home. Yeah. I don't think the traveling is what's going to hurt Seattle, but that home crowd and that atmosphere.
Right.
Now here I've changed my mind from earlier.
Okay.
I think I'm going to go with the Seahawks, and here's why.
Okay.
Because
you're free to do that.
I am free to do that.
Okay.
Here's why. Because as you were talking, I think about the fact that there's no singular weapon that Seattle has. And what your point was, you swayed me because you said who's going to get the most stops at the end. Right. I think you're going to see a lot of points put up. But I'm going to give the edge to Seattle on the last couple of stops.
Sure.
I'm probably wrong, but I'm going to go with Seattle.
Hey,
and I'm going to call it a close one. I'm talking about like by 3.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to say.
It's going to be that type of game, and it'll be exciting. And so I'm ready for that game to get kicked off. And there's going to be a lot of points scored, a lot of great plays. I think
it'll be good plays.
Spectacular plays are going to be.
It's going to be the one-handed fingertip, pulling in.
Okay, so yeah.
The next game
we've got, yes, we're still sticking with the NFC here.
Ooh, it's a good one.
This is going to be an epic battle.
Yes.
We've got the Green Bay Packers against the Dallas Cowboys.
What?
Now, Green Bay took down the New York Giants last week.
Yes, they did. Dismantled
them. It was another great game.
Yes.
Those are two very historic franchises, and Lambeau Field was rocking last week, and they're sad because they're not playing at home, but they get to go ahead and go down to Jerry World in Dallas and take on these just amazing, really young buck Cowboys right now that are defeating all the odds that people have been putting on them this year. And so initially I would say, man, you know, there's no question, you know, Aaron Rodgers is that guy and they're going to, you know, destroy Dallas. You know, his gun is hot right now. But every time I say that or pick against the Cowboys, I should say, they go out there and prove me wrong. So I'm just going to give my early prediction right now. I'm going with the Cowboys just because what they've had, their chemistry and all the things that they've done this year, it's hard to pick against them. And I just think that Dallas right now is in Jerry World. I just think they have so much momentum going on. I think I have to go with Dallas.
Well, here's the thing. I'm sure Green Bay would like home field advantage, but you have to win more.
Right.
And it took them way too long to win. Now, when they started winning, they got hot. That dad blasted Aaron Rodgers. Whew. You watch this, man. He can hit anybody from anywhere. Right. You were saying earlier, it's like he must have the highest Hail Mary percentage ever.
Yeah.
He's for real. And he can put that team on his back, which he's done. But you're the one that told me earlier, no Jordy Nelson this week.
Yeah, no Jordy.
So here's my thing. Aaron Rodgers can put that team on his back and will a win, especially at Lambeau. But he's going into AT&T Stadium in Dallas, and you're playing a whole team.
Yes.
It's not just Dak. It's not just Zeke. It's not just that phenomenal O-line. It's not just Cole Beasley. It's not just Jason Witten. And it's not just, and the defense, who I think has been much maligned this year, has actually done a really good job. And unfortunately, Green Bay has allowed people to score 35 points on them.
Right.
So as I look at the whole thing, as much as Aaron Rodgers is HOTE hot right now, one man is not going to beat a whole team, especially at home. I'm going to go with the Cowboys, and I'm actually going to go with the Cowboys by 7.
Okay.
So, you know, I know that's kind of the spread. I'm going with the Cowboys by 7.
Well, I know in pre-production we were going back and forth.
Oh, I was all over the place. I originally said Packers.
So you are going to go with the Cowboys in this one.
I talked myself back. You talked me out of it.
You know,
when you told me Jordy was out.
Well, Jordy is out, and the defense is still suspect, but they are playing really good football right now, and I do think Dallas is going to have their hands full with Aaron Rodgers. So it's going to be a really good game.
Oh, yes.
There's a lot of pressure on Dallas, too, because they haven't been in this position in quite some time. And how are those young guys going to be able to handle the pressure? I think they'll be just fine. It's going to be a great matchup.
You know who I forgot was my boy Des Bryant. They have young, but the nice thing about Dallas, you got young Thundercats infusing energy, but you've got vets out there, too.
Yes, you do. Jason Witten,
it's a balanced team, and this is the ultimate team sport.
Right.
And like you said, a suspect defense over there. Defenses win championships. So at this point, I was going to go Aaron Rodgers all day, but he's by himself. He's not going to be able to fight off all the Cowboys and AT&T Stadium.
So quick recap. You're picking Seattle, I'm picking Atlanta, and then we're both picking Dallas for that second game.
Yes.
Well, it'll be a great game. Both matchups are going to be awesome. We're really excited for these games coming up. The NFC side of the draw is going to be awesome, and so we're going to continue to see what happens.
And I'm usually wrong, so anybody sorry, I just probably jinxed you.
Continue to follow us on all of our social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, obviously on YouTube as we're broadcasting to you guys on YouTube. We're really excited, like we said, because this is a great time of year for football, especially NFL. So we're just going to continue to watch them and see what happens. And so we just hope that you guys
let me be right for a little while.
Yeah,
let's see what happens. I'm excited though. I'm gonna be on the couch the whole weekend.
Right. Well, we appreciate your time, folks, and we'll see you next time.